Good evening, everyone, and welcome to our city. We are right here, January 15th of 2019, still can't believe that, at the Muscatine City Hall, and we have a couple of great guests to share some information with you tonight. But before we get started, I just wanted to share with you on Thursday night, Business After Hours was down at the Muscatine History and Industry Center, and we were highlighting a new employer in Muscatine, Jam Media Solutions, and they have they're the new owners of the radio station, and so we got to meet and welcome them. But during the Business After Hours, we were able to show from the Greater Muscatine Chamber of Commerce and Industry, GMCCI, some of the clips of the Fireball Run. Some of you may remember the show on the Discovery Channel, Fireball Run, that they filmed here in Muscatine last September. That episode's coming out this week, so we got to see it early on Thursday night, and I think Ryan has some clips here for you from that. Do you have some pictures from that? Oh, sorry, we're having some kind of technical problems, so we're not going to be able to show you those. But get a hold of GMCCI if you can, or send them a message on Facebook, because as you're watching the show, you'll see people from Muscatine and say, I know that person. It'll be really fun. So we were really fortunate to have that show come here to Muscatine. But I would like to welcome our first guest. We have Kelly Ripperger, and she is with Milestones Area Agency on Aging, and she's in charge of the Meals on Wheels program. Welcome, Kelly.
Thank you so much for having me.
Oh, I'm so glad you came. So you're with Milestones.
I am with Milestones. I am the nutrition supervisor.
All right.
For Milestones, and I am housed out of Burlington.
So you drove up here to visit with us today. Thank you so much. On an icy, freezing drizzle day. So how big is your territory?
Milestones actually covers a 17-county area.
Oh, wow.
And Muscatine is one of them.
Uh-huh.
And that's why I came today to talk about the nutrition program in Muscatine and what some members of the community might want to do to help out their fellow neighbors here in Muscatine.
So for most people have an idea in their mind of what Meals on Wheels really is. Can you give us just the Cliff's Notes on what is the Meals on Wheels program?
Right, well, it's a home-delivered meal program, and it is for people who are homebound.
Okay.
Now, we're not saying that somebody can never leave the house and qualify for home-delivered meals. I mean, they still need to go to the doctor, they go to church, things like that, but it's somebody who is homebound, can't prepare their own meals, or go to the grocery store, things like that.
Okay.
So in Muscatine, the meals are prepared at Trinity.
At the hospital?
At the hospital.
Okay.
And we go and pick up the meals at Trinity, then go deliver them on a route, and then we have bags that those meals were in, and then we take them back to Trinity, and then they get filled the next day for the next route. So it's Monday through Friday, 5 days a week, and they typically would leave Trinity maybe around 10:45 or 11, and it takes about an hour to deliver.
Okay. So how many people get a meal every day in Muscatine?
Each route has from 12 to 15, which may not sound like a lot, but it does take over an hour to do each route. And what we've had to do, because we don't have enough volunteers, is we've had to start a waiting list.
Oh.
So there are some people who need meals that we cannot accommodate them.
Sure.
And one person can't be out on a route for much longer than that, because the integrity of the food would decline then. The hot wouldn't stay hot, or the cold wouldn't stay cold. So what we're really looking for is someone, maybe a retired person who has some time to spend to volunteer maybe one day a week.
Okay.
One day every 2 weeks.
So they don't have to commit to every single day?
Absolutely not.
Okay.
And even someone who says, I want to do it one day a week, every Wednesday or something like that, we would be delighted to have that. Now, that doesn't mean that they can't ever miss that day because they have a vacation or that they have something else to do.
You'd find a sub for them.
That's exactly right. We would find a sub for them. So anyone who could help out, we would be very appreciative of.
You know, I've taken a couple of times where I've went around and went with someone on the route. And I can tell you, those people who do give their time and volunteer to take a route, I think they enjoy it more than the people that are receiving the services.
It's a wonderful feeling. I get to do it sometimes too when we're short a person. And one thing, it's nice to get out.
Sure.
It's just nice to get out, and it's nice to see the people because they appreciate it so much. And if I could add too,
Sure.
in some of our other communities, we have businesses who commit to their employees
Sure.
doing a route once a week. In Burlington, there's a bank that every Friday they have 2 people come and they deliver a route.
And it could be different 2 people each week.
It always is different 2 people.
Okay, so
And-
everybody can take turns.
Yes, and they enjoy that. And then in another location, we have a car dealership where they actually have
That's
2
fun.
people who do it 2 days a week.
So they can pick their non-busiest day.
Right? And it's a great way for them to give back to the community.
Sure. It's so heartwarming to see the folks at home. We've done this for the food pantry as well here locally, and it is so fun to meet and give a hug to the people and see them just come to the door and be all so happy to see you and give them a hot meal and know they're getting a nutritious meal that day.
Exactly. And it's not only about the food, but it's about the contact.
Sure, sure. Well, I know one of the big things that you're really looking for is for volunteers to
Yes.
sign up and help with
Yes.
that. But there may be some folks that are listening that need the meals.
Right?
How could they go about accessing the services?
Well, the person, there's an 855 number, and I think that you had my card up, that number would be on. If someone is interested in a home delivered meal, they can call this 855 number.
Is this in
And
here?
there it is.
Okay.
The 855-410-6222.
Uh-huh.
And if they call that number, they will get somebody who's called an information and assistance professional.
Okay.
And that person will ask them some questions, and they will do what's called an intake. It's a simple form that they fill out, and then they will refer them to the location where they live, whether it be Muscatine
Okay.
or Burlington or wherever. And then we stop in and we do a short home visit just to talk to them about the program, filled out a little paperwork, and as long as they qualify, we can usually get them a meal in the next day or 2.
Oh, that's great.
And it is all available on a contribution basis.
So nobody's charged.
No
they can
one-
give a donation.
We have a suggested donation.
Okay.
And we do rely on contributions. It helps to fund our program, but no one will ever be turned away for not contributing
Okay.
what that suggested
Sure.
contribution is.
And the problem right now is with having a waiting list, it's because we need those volunteers.
That's exactly right. And what we'd like, we have 2 routes now. We'd really like to start a 3rd route.
Okay.
And that way no one would have to be on a waiting list.
And how many homes? So in that hour, how many different stops would the volunteer make?
About 12.
Okay, okay. Now, could you have 2 people volunteer? What if you had a husband and wife that wanted to do it together? Maybe husband wants to just drive and the wife can hop
Yeah.
out and take in the food. Does that work too?
That does work. We have many who do that. The businesses, that's how they do it. Usually
Okay.
2 people go. It does make it go faster
Oh, I bet.
when there
Sure.
are 2.
You don't have to park and,
Right, and it's something you can do together.
sure.
So yeah,
Or take turns
that-
next
yep.
time I drive.
Yep, that's right.
Uh-huh.
So yeah, we do have a lot of couples who do it together.
So do you have longevity? Do you find once a volunteer starts, do they like to stay?
Yes, we have a man, I just asked him the other day, how long have you been doing this? 8 years.
Oh my goodness, so he loves it.
Once he started, he was hooked.
He was
And
hooked.
then he brought in, and then I talked to another volunteer and I said, well, how did you get started? Jim asked me, and Jim is the 8-year veteran.
Oh, wow.
So oftentimes they are able to recruit others. And
Sure.
that's what I'm hoping can happen in Muscatine. We might have one person say, yes, I want to do it, and then they talk to a friend and tell them how much joy they get out of doing it, and that friend will tell another
Sure.
friend, and we can have a whole army of volunteers.
Oh, yes. I could see churches signing up for a day
Yes,
too
yes.
and taking turns. Now, what about youth? Can a young person, could a grandparent sign up and bring their grandchild along with them as a helper?
Yes, the criteria for a driver is that they be 18 and
Uh-huh.
obviously have a driver's license.
Okay.
And we have a little bit of paperwork.
Mhm.
But a grandparent can certainly take along a grandchild.
Oh,
And
fun.
we have had volunteers who do that. We also we had a mother who was homeschooling her kids,
Oh.
and they delivered meals once a week.
Oh, fun.
Mm-hmm.
That's a great field trip to go on,
Yes,
isn't it?
it's a great experience for those kids.
I'm a firm believer in teaching our children young the value of volunteering.
Mm-hmm.
And they need to see us doing it, and they need to experience it for themselves.
Mm-hmm.
And because it can just open up a world for them
Exactly.
in their whole life of giving back
Right.
to the community and experiencing that feeling that you can only get from doing for others.
Exactly.
Yeah. Well, I don't know how much you know Muscatine. I know you've been doing this for a while before and then took a little bit of a hiatus
Right.
and you're back again. But Muscatine is a very giving community. And when we put out the call for help, we typically, somebody comes forward.
That's great to know.
It really, Muscatine is just a wonderful community for taking care of one another, and it's a matter of getting the word out, and we're pleased to be able to help you get out that information that you need to have some volunteers for your Meals on Wheels. So once they got signed up and got onboarded with the whole program, and I know you trained them so they didn't have to
Right.
be nervous,
Right.
and they'd learn everything. Then when it's their turn and their day, then they just go to the hospital and pick up their
Their meals.
route
Right.
and off they go.
Exactly. That's all there is to it.
And then at the end of the route, they take their bags back so they can refill them for the next time.
Right.
Oh, very good.
Right. And Heather is the person who works for Milestones in Muscatine, who anyone who's interested in volunteering can contact.
Okay.
They also can contact me. My card was on there. But Heather's office is at the Clark House.
Is she there every day?
She's there every day.
Oh, that's easy access.
Yes.
Oh,
and
good.
I can give her phone number if anyone
Okay,
would be interested
sure.
in calling her.
Mhm.
It's 563
Uh-huh.
260 9921.
So they can just call this number and get her anytime,
She works 7:30 to 1.
7:30 to 1.
And if she's not there, she's probably out doing a route.
Sure.
They can leave their name and number and she'll get back to them.
Uh-huh.
So anyone who's interested in volunteering, just give Heather a call.
They could probably stop over there too, couldn't they?
They could.
At the Clark House?
Mhm.
But it sounds like with your shortage of volunteers right now, she's out doing a route sometimes.
Oftentimes, yes.
Okay.
More days
Make
than not.
sure.
Yeah, more
Sure.
days than not usually.
Okay. Well, we got to get those meals on out. So they get these meals, I assume, they're hot meals. They're all nutritionally balanced. They're good for our people.
Yes, a nutritionist looks them over, a dietitian,
Uh-huh.
and makes sure that they're well balanced.
Very good.
They provide 1/3 of the required daily requirements.
Oh, that's great. That's great. And then they just can give a donation.
Exactly.
Wonderful. Well, I know you said that you brought some stuff, some comments from some of the people.
Right, I brought some testimony.
Will you share a couple
I
of
would
those
love
with us?
to. This is kind of long, but it's just so thoughtful that I'd like to read it. This is from a volunteer named Joanne. And she said, delivering meals for Milestones is one of my favorite ways to give back to my community. Since I deliver to the same people every week, we get to know each other and become friends. The people we deliver to not only appreciate the food, they enjoy the brief visit we have too. They make me feel like they look forward to seeing me. Whenever I get a new person on my route, I see it as my opportunity to get to know a new friend.
Isn't that special?
And I know.
That is just wonderful. Was there another one that stuck out for you?
Yes, there is. Anita said, it gets me up and out of the house. I love the people and they enjoy seeing me as much as I enjoy seeing them. I needed something to do and it has evolved into much more than I imagined.
Isn't that great?
They're
Helping
very
others,
dedicated. Yes.
Oh, sure. And you know, we've talked so many times on our city show here that all of the services and the programs and the events that we have here in Muscatine, wouldn't happen without volunteers. It just wouldn't.
That's right.
We couldn't pay for all of the good things that are going on and the services that people need, and it's such a win-win. We started, I have a parenting program at the Y, and one of the things that we started doing there is when folks come to the parenting programs, we have them write down for us on the sign-in sheet how many hours this week did they volunteer. And it has done two different things. It has helped them be more thoughtful about giving back and doing things for others, but it's also helped them raise their self-esteem and realize, you know what, I do stuff for others.
Yeah.
Maybe I don't have a lot of money, and maybe I can't give big donations to people and causes that are important to me, but I can give my neighbor a ride.
Right.
Or I can babysit for a friend while they went to the doctor, or I can help out in the nursery at church, or I can deliver Meals on Wheels, you know, and those are all ways to give back that don't cost you any money.
Just time.
Just your time.
Right.
Yep. And that smile on your face can be the bright part of someone's day, let alone bringing them a nutritious meal.
Exactly.
So it is just so valuable, and the things, our world just wouldn't turn the way it does without volunteers. So I hope that people step forward
I do too.
and sign up and give a call to Heather at the Clark House, give a call to you, and reach out, and we'll get those slots filled for you.
I'm looking forward to it.
I really hope so. If you need to come back again, if you need to get more information out to the community, please come back again.
Thank you.
Is there anything else that you wanted to say as a part of?
Well, the only other thing that I would like to mention is I don't know that everyone knows that our meal sites at the Clark House, also at Hershey Manor, at Towers Apartments, anyone 60 and over can go there and eat on a contribution basis.
Okay.
Those are congregate
Even if
meal
you don't
sites.
live there.
Even if you don't live there, you can go there and eat. There would be, it's a good meal, and it would provide socialization.
Yes.
And it's on a contribution basis. So I wanted to point that out too.
Oh, I think that's a great thing.
Oh, also Fruitland.
Yes.
Fruitland.
At the community center?
Yes, at the community center. They meet every Wednesday.
Okay.
And if anyone is interested in going to any of those places for a congregate meal, you can call Heather and she can make a reservation for you.
She's at the Clark House.
Right. And we just do require a reservation.
Oh, sure, so they know how many meals
Exactly.
to bring over. You know, and I think it's wonderful, not only are they getting, if they can get themselves to one of the meal sites, or if they live in one of the buildings that is fortunate enough to have a meal site there, it's not just the meal, but it's that socialization time.
Oh, yeah.
To visit with one another, and that is just as important as that healthy meal. And sit and visit with other people and smile and laugh and share your day.
And sometimes they have special events and different things. So.
Oh, sure. And good meals.
Exactly.
That's right. Thank you so much for coming, Callie. Drive safely home. You got a little drive ahead of you. You certainly do. Well, you better scoot out at her in just a minute.
All right.
Sit tight if you would while I get started to talk to you about another meal program, and it's something that the food pantry, which is now located at MCSA, is doing now. And occasionally people will drop off food to MCSA, which, as you know, is where our homeless shelter is. But sometimes they get like a great deal of food that's dropped off, and they can't quite use it all. And so what they've done now is they've set up a texting distribution list. And so if that ever happens, that they get a great deal of food dropped off that they can't use right away, or they can't use at all, they will send out a text to this distribution list. And if you're around the area, or if you're at home and you are in need of some food assistance that day, just head on over to MCSA. It's first come, first served, and get some food to help your family. So what you need to remember, first of all, is to get your phone number on that distribution list. So when the text goes out, you'll get the information. So get a hold of MCSA 264-3278. I can't tell you why I remember that number. It's amazing, some of the numbers that stick with us and the ones that don't. But get a hold of MCSA. It looks like they have a way here for you to send a text to 81010 and type in your message, MCSA at MCSA food. And it sounds like then when you hit send, that will automatically hook up your phone number to be on that texting distribution list. I think it's a wonderful program that's going to help a lot of people here in Muscatine. The next thing before we get to our next guest is I just wanted to remind everybody about the Eagles and Ivories event that's coming up January 24th through the 27th. This is their 25th anniversary. Normally the event is just on Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, but this year, in honor of their 25th anniversary, they've added Thursday. So there are going to be just some wonderful music and events. And then on Saturday, the 25th, 24, 25, 26th, there's going to have all different kinds of Eagles and stuff going on at the Pearl City Station. So a live Raptor program by the Rare Group at 9:30 and 11. Booths hosted by the conservation groups. There'll be hot chocolate, crafts, all kinds of fun stuff for the kids. So definitely get the Eagles and Ivories event on your list, on your calendar, and don't forget that event because you won't want to miss out. Well, next we want to welcome Chris McGinnis. As you all know, she's the Executive Director of the Muscatine Humane Society. Welcome, Chris. Thanks for coming.
Thanks for having me. Appreciate it.
How's business down there these days?
Business is always just the same. One animal goes out,
another comes in. Oh, 5 come in.
Yeah,
oh
I'm
my
afraid
goodness.
so. Yeah.
Now, is this the season right now when we're having babies?
Not quite yet.
Okay.
Usually kittens start being born around March.
Okay.
And then they grow up April and May, and then June, July is when we really are bombarded with many, many kittens.
Wow.
Usually about 400 come in between April and October.
400 kittens.
Kittens, yes. And they arrive in pillowcases, laundry baskets, cardboard boxes. They are, unfortunately, they're everywhere. And so, you know, it's really important if you have a cat to have it spayed or neutered because they are really prolific.
Yeah. Like rabbits, they say, right?
Yes, that's for sure. That's
and
for sure.
If you're not having them for your pet, you don't want them to be out there and be cold and hungry, and so let's take care of that so that they don't have that happen.
That's
to
for
them.
sure. That's for sure. Mm-hmm.
Now you are a no-kill shelter.
Well,
is that correct?
I kind of wanted to talk about that
Please
a little bit.
Please do, because people are a little confused.
People are confused, and there are so many different definitions of the different ways shelters work. We are what's considered an open admissions shelter.
Okay.
Which means we take everything.
So you don't turn people away and say, we don't have any more room for cats.
We do not do that.
Okay.
And we don't pick and choose what we take. So every animal that we take could be deathly ill, injured, could have a very poor temperament. We work with the city very closely here. About 80% of our animals come from within our city limits. Sure. And many times there are nuisance animals such as a cat called feral cats.
Yes.
And those cats are actually wild. They're like a raccoon. You cannot handle them. They have grown up wild on the street. And many times they are a danger to society. Okay. They can bite, they fight with other animals, they can cause damage around your home. A lot of different things when communes of feral cats are around. Sometimes people feed them, sometimes they don't, which causes them to get into your garage searching for food.
Okay.
They're in dumpsters, a lot of different problems. Many times those cats we cannot adopt out. So we can't really say we are 100% no-kill.
Okay.
But what I will say is that the adoptable animals that we get, if they are friendly and healthy, they have no time frame. Meaning
no matter
that
how long you
no
keep
matter
them.
If they stay mentally healthy, living in a cage and being handled by volunteers and in and out as much as they possibly can, we hold them until they get a home.
So it's not like you got 3 months and then you're
That's
done.
exactly
Okay.
right.
That's
and
great.
a lot of people will ask that question. Well, how much time does so and so have? And if
Yes.
they are in our adoption section,
Uh-huh.
that means we have given them their vaccinations. They've been temperament tested. They've been dewormed, spayed or neutered. Iowa law says we have to spay and neuter every animal prior to its adoption, which
Okay.
makes sense, but it's a big job.
Oh, sure it is.
So we have all that done.
Uh-huh.
We always have at least 50 cats on display adoptable, and usually between 25 and 30 dogs.
Okay.
Our population right now, I have 145 cats and 60 dogs. So our building was built really to house about 100 animals. And
You've
we
got more
always-
than that.
Yes, we do. So we always need adopters, always.
Oh, yes. What kind of things do you do to get the word out for?
Well, Facebook has been a great resource.
Oh, I've seen pictures come through.
Yes, whenever we put pictures on, the nice part of it is that people can share those.
Uh-huh.
And so they're shared to the Quad
All
Cities
over.
and Iowa
Or,
City.
oh,
and
Dad,
who knows
get this
where-
puppy.
Please,
Yeah.
this looks like our dog.
Uh-huh.
He needs a friend.
Yes.
And people do share those things.
Yeah.
And we can write a little biography and a couple extra pictures.
Oh, sure.
And then we use petfinder.com, which
Okay.
is a very huge resource for placing animals. And then our own Hy-Vee store has a beautiful bulletin board that they
I've
let us
seen
have.
that. Yes.
And every time I go in, there's always 3 or 4 people standing around that,
Looking at it,
looking at
sure.
the pictures, and they can call or they can come right down
And I've
look
seen
at the animal.
I've seen you have them right out in front of Hy-Vee before.
Yes, that's one fundraiser that we do every
Uh-huh.
year in May.
Okay.
Is we take animals out into the community that are adoptable, and usually that's Be Kind to Animals Week. We usually
Okay.
adopt out between 35 and 40 animals that week.
Really?
So that's a lot for 1 week.
Oh, sure.
So yes, that's very beneficial.
So how long has the Humane Society been here in Muscatine?
Well, inside the city limits, we opened in 1996. Nancy Kent built that building.
Uh-huh.
She had another shelter that was located in the county for years and years, and she wanted to be more visible. She wanted to be in the city where it was convenient and have a newer, nicer building. So we're going to be 23 years old this summer. So, you know, we are pretty visible, but
Sure.
the building is starting at 23 years.
Stuff's starting to break down.
Roofing
That's right.
problems,
Yep.
heating and air conditioning problems, even the kennels. Dogs are hard on
Oh, I bet
kennels.
they
So for
are.
23 years, there's a lot of improvements now that we're going to have to start digging into our savings and maybe doing some extra fundraising for that purpose.
Now you do have, from the little bit I know, a very active and supportive board of directors, don't you?
We do, yes.
That's
And
wonderful. That makes a big difference, doesn't it?
They're very helpful, and they're well, I couldn't function without
Oh,
our
sure.
board.
Oh, sure.
And you know, we do have regular monthly meetings, and they're always there to help me with whatever advice I need.
Ideas, you
Yeah,
know, brainstorming. Sure,
yeah.
sure.
Well, because one thing that people think too about our funding is still many people think animal shelters are funded by the government. Like we just get a monthly amount of money to support animals and to do spaying and
Sure,
neutering and,
wouldn't that be nice?
and to pay all of our staff, and that we
Uh-huh.
don't have to pay utilities or whatever. And none of that is true. So one of the biggest fundraising efforts that we have every year is the giant caramel apple project.
Oh, yes, I usually get one every year for my husband.
And we make those by hand.
Do you really?
Every one
Oh,
is
my
hand
goodness.
dipped, and there's like an assembly line of stages to do those apples. And it's for Valentine's Day.
Sure.
So you'll start to see some flyers out about that. The apples should arrive next week, and then we can. It's about a 3-week process
Really?
to make. We make 1,588 of them, and it's because they come in a 48 count box. They're so giant. Each apple weighs about a pound before we dip it. So it's a fundraiser. It's fun.
It is.
We love to do it.
Now you don't deliver anymore, is that
we
right?
don't deliver anymore. We did that for probably about the first 5 or 6 years of the program, and it never failed. Valentine's Day was on a freezing rain day,
Of course.
or something.
Like Halloween, same thing. Yeah.
always. And it took a lot of volunteers to deliver 1,500 apples.
Oh, I bet it did.
So now people order them, or we do sell them at Hy-Vee for 3 days in a row.
And Fairway, do you?
And Fairway
Yes.
puts up a table for us. So when you're shopping, you can just put one in your
Grab
cart
it.
and grab it. And they come with a little card to tell you the best way to serve it. And I love this project. It's labor intensive,
Oh, I
but
bet
I
it
love
is.
it. It's special. It yields a very large profit. And then we can use that for medical things for animals.
Sure.
So we don't have to take from our operating budget. So that's
Look
what
at
it
that.
really.
Do you do it on site?
We do it
Oh my goodness.
in our next door to the shelter is a training facility.
I've seen that,
and we
sure.
have a kitchen in there.
Wow.
And it's a certified kitchen. We have certified people that supervise.
They're so
but
pretty.
They're very pretty, and this is the toffee crunch ones that we offer.
Those are good.
You can order that kind or the plain that just has the sprinkles on. But there was a medical issue right there. That picture had a little dog that had to have an eye removed right there.
Oh,
And
yes.
so, you know, that's another thing with being an open admission shelter. Everything we take, we have to fix
It
their
could have an
problems.
ailment.
Yes,
Sure,
we have
sure.
to fix their problems.
Now you don't have a vet, I assume.
We have a lot of support from our veterinarians here in the
Isn't that
city.
great?
We have spay-neuter help. I could probably call any of the vets in our city if I had an animal hit by a car and say, hey, can I come right now? And they would all say,
Isn't that
yes, come
amazing?
over. So, but we do those things. And a
Sure.
lot of times I think
We help
the
each other
public
here.
doesn't think that you know, we do medical help for animals,
Sure.
but we certainly do.
You do.
Yes.
Good. Good.
Yes. So,
So if the government doesn't fund you and pay all your bills,
Mm-hmm.
who does fund you?
well, we do have a very nice agreement with our city. They do pay us for services that we provide. Like I said, about 80% of the animals come from within the city. Most of those are strays. Sometimes people have to rehome their own pets for reasons they can't control. Allergies, nursing home, moving, many different things. Financial issues sometimes causes someone to have to give up their pet.
Sure.
So we do have a contract with our city. They pay for our services. We work hand in hand with the city animal control officer, the police department, and we're happy to do it. And I'm happy to have a really good relationship with our city, and I always try to help them, and they in turn help me any way they can.
Sure.
So,
So what about the county? Do you take care of county animals?
we do not.
You do not. Okay.
What happens if you are a county resident and there is a dog that is dumped in your neighborhood or whatever? You can certainly bring it to us, but we do have to ask you for a fee.
Okay.
Because we don't get funding from the county. We
Okay.
don't get funding from other counties. If it's your own pet and you own it, we are going to ask you for a fee to help support that pet.
Okay.
And again, what you're getting then is the medical issues taken care of the animal and an unlimited stay until we find the right home for
Sure. Food and, I mean,
him. Yes.
shots,
Oh,
worming,
so many
all
things.
kinds of things.
Yeah.
Sure.
So many things with animals. Veterinary care is very expensive.
Oh, yes.
But we want to give people a healthy animal.
Of course.
So
you want to know
whatever-
that when you
Yep,
adopt one, that
that's for
you're not
sure.
getting one that has
Right.
some hidden illness that you
That's
don't
right.
know about.
So we do our very best
Yes.
to not have that happen.
Now, I have heard of some groups that go down and walk dogs. What's
Mm-hmm.
that? How does that work?
Well, we do have a volunteer program.
Mm-hmm.
Right now, once people start volunteering, kind of like Meals on Wheels,
Yes.
it's so gratifying for them that they don't usually quit. So right now, we are a little volunteer heavy as
Wow.
far as people to
That's a
walk
good
dogs.
problem.
It is a good problem
Yes.
because the dogs get out. We have a huge chain link fenced in yard where if you're not able to really
Mm-hmm.
walk, you could take a dog to the yard, throw a frisbee, throw a ball, just let him do his
let
own
him get
thing,
out of the kennel
and they
for a
get to
while.
get out,
How
change
nice
of
is
scenery.
that?
So people like to do that. If you're a cat person,
Uh-huh.
cats always need to be brushed. They like to get out of a cage. We have little
Sit on
rooms.
your lap.
Yes, that kind of
Oh,
thing.
Sure.
And so there is a volunteer orientation.
Uh-huh.
And like I said, I know I have a large list right now of people wanting that orientation.
Wow.
So we need a few volunteers to kind of drop off a little bit so we can take in some new. But that is very helpful.
Fun.
That is very
Oh.
helpful, yeah. And people sometimes do fundraising on their own
And bring you the money.
and bring us the money, or they just bring supplies, like a supply drive,
Sure.
or food. I mean, we don't turn down open bags of food. If your cat's too finicky and doesn't like this kind, bring it to us. We've
that
got somebody that'll eat it.
Oh,
you know?
sure.
So we
That's a great
appreciate-
idea.
and we appreciate it.
So people can drop off kitty litter. They can drop off food.
Yes.
They toys.
We have an actual list, a wish list.
Oh, really?
If anybody ever wants to email us and get that list, we can attach it and send it right out. I always say paper towels are like gold. We use cases of paper towels in a week, cases of them, because every cat cage is completely wiped down, sides, top, bottom, and it never fails. Once the cages are clean and everybody's all set for the morning, somebody flicks their food, somebody's water goes
Of
over here,
course
and the
they
paper
do.
towels are out again.
Yep.
So
of course.
paper towels are like gold. They may
Okay.
not be the most fun thing to buy, but it really helps our budget.
And how nice of a service project to take your list,
Yeah.
and just put that out for your group,
We
whatever
had
it
some
may
kids
be.
do a scavenger hunt at Halloween time from our list. And they went door to door and they had this little list
Oh,
of,
how
and then
fun.
everything they collected came to the Humane Society. Those kids had a ball. They just loved doing that.
And
And
that-
it's so helpful to us.
Sure.
And we appreciate it so much.
What's the biggest thing you guys need?
Well,
It sounds like you got the volunteers. You don't have that same problem Meals on Wheels is having right now. But it sounds like you're going to need another building, and you certainly need some donations,
Well-
financial and supplies.
financial donations is wonderful because we can use it wherever we
Wherever
need
you're
it.
short that month.
And
sure.
like I said, the roof is having some issues. It's going to be inspected soon. We've got some leaks. The heating and air conditioning is pretty much a nightmare because it has all kinds of complicated air exchanges and things.
Sure.
We have geothermal, which is underground with the water and the loop and so much maintenance all of a sudden. And I've been in this building since it opened, so 23 years in that building, and it was so nice when it was new. But now the chain link is breaking and the dogs are bending the fiberglass panels and painting is
Sure.
needed. And in fact, last May, Sherwin-Williams here in town came and painted our whole cat adoption area for us for a day of caring.
Oh, how nice.
And I mean, things like that is just invaluable.
Oh, sure it is.
And if we could get a team of people to do a project, if it's a painting project or whatever, that is so wonderful. And it's a way, like I said, anything that we don't have to take out of our operating budget can then be saved for when we do have a dog that needs its eye removed, or a broken leg,
Sure,
or a
sure.
dog with heartworm disease, or something like that that we can fix. It's a lovely dog, it's a young dog, but it has a $700 problem.
Yes.
So that's what fundraising does for
Yeah.
us. That's where donations come in. And we need a stable building to keep housing all those
sure.
animals.
So if it was built for only 100 animals, did you have to get a bunch more kennels to fit?
Well, the dog area is pretty self-sufficient. We have 45 kennels, and they divide with like a guillotine door.
Okay,
So if we had to divide them and put a little dog on the small side and a big dog on the big side, we could.
You could do that.
But the cat area, what we ended up doing, someone donated us a 2-car garage. And so we put a heater, a propane hanging heater, and air conditioner. And then I got a grant for some stainless steel cages, and that's like our cat overflow area.
Nice.
But right now, with so many cats, I have cats that are in stackable dog pet taxis in my hallway.
Oh my goodness.
And that's where they have to live.
Because you
And
keep them independent. You
yes, most of the time.
Yes.
I do have some like commune rooms,
Uh-huh.
but cats are finicky. They don't always like
yeah,
each
they
other.
are, sure.
So staying separate, and of course if they haven't been spayed or neutered yet, they do have to stay separate.
Okay, sure, sure. So how many staff do you have?
I only have a staff of 8 people.
Oh boy, that's not
And
many.
someone is there 7 days a week, every holiday. We still have to feed, clean, you know, food and water, all those things. We are closed on Wednesday, so that's kind of our catch-up day.
Okay.
That's the day when we do a lot of deep cleaning and extra things. And I have 3 staff members that work every Wednesday. So just because the shelter's not open doesn't mean we're not there working. Yeah, we're still.
But you're closed on the weekends.
We're open on Saturday, 10 to 2.
Okay.
Closed on Wednesdays and Sundays. But yeah.
Otherwise, even on Christmas, somebody has to go
somebody's
in
there all day on Christmas.
Yeah.
Yep, because when you've got 200 animals.
Oh yeah.
So yeah, people don't think about that either. I don't know if they think we just leave them there all day
sorry,
with no food and
Christmas
water.
vacation.
Christmas Day. But that
You're on
doesn't
your
happen.
own.
Nope. We are always. Someone is always there, taking care of them.
So if somebody wants to adopt a pet, which sounds like that's one of the needs you have.
That is a huge need.
So
is adopters.
how do they do it?
Well,
How does it work?
we do have an application.
Okay.
It's 18 questions long. And
What are some of the questions?
Well, one of the questions is, do you rent or own your home? Because if you rent and you're trying to smuggle in an animal and the landlord doesn't know about it, it doesn't work well for the animal.
They could come right back again.
They could
when
come
you get
right back,
caught.
or they could be kicked out on the street,
Sure.
or given to someone maybe who already has too many animals. So that is one thing we check.
Sure.
If you tell me you own your home, I'm going to look it up on Magic and see who owns the home.
Okay.
Also, if you have multiple pets at home, we would like a veterinary reference showing that you do have the animals in your home current on their vaccinations.
So you're a good pet owner.
Yes, and that you go along with your city ordinances. You know, meaning they've got to be wearing their
They're wearing
tags, they've
licensed.
got to have their rabies vaccine. Do you have your current pet spayed or neutered, or are you adding to the cat problem? So I'm going to check your veterinary references, and I'm going to check where you live. Other than that, it's like, what are the ages of your kids? Because we want to match a dog with a family that has
You don't want a
toddlers
dog that
or
doesn't
not.
like little
Yeah,
kids.
we don't want anybody to be bitten. We don't want to put a husky maybe in a home with 3 cats that he may be predatory towards.
Okay.
So we ask some questions about what other pets do you have, what are the ages of your kids, have you adopted from us before, and if so, do you still have that pet?
Or did you ditch him
Yeah,
in
or
6
what happened
months?
to him.
Sure.
Another thing we started doing in 2014 was we do microchip all of our animals. So
Nice.
if you adopt a cat from us and you're a person who likes to just let it purposely outside and it comes back into us 3 or 4 times, we probably aren't going to give you another cat.
Because you're going to know.
Because we're going to know that is your cat. You can't say it isn't.
Yeah.
It's got a microchip.
Yes.
So, and then also, cats are so hard to identify. They're not like a breed like you may have a boxer or a German Shepherd or a Cocker Spaniel.
Sure.
We might recognize a certain dog. But when cats come in as strays,
Sure.
if they've got that chip, oh, so nice. So, and the microchip comes with your adoption, and it also, we register it for you for free. So it's all a package
Wow.
deal. And kittens are $25.
That's
They're
not
spayed, neutered, microchipped, vaccinated, and you get a free health visit to the veterinarian of your choice in the area. We have 9 different vets to choose from that would love to have your business.
Wow.
So it is a great value to get an animal from a shelter.
Oh, sure. So I really like the idea that you do background checks on the families that are adopting, because so many people, like, just for a gift will go buy a
Right.
puppy or a cat, and maybe they don't want a puppy or a cat, or maybe next week they don't.
Right, that's
It
true.
was, all
Sometimes-
romantic today, but
Sometimes people think too, well, my elderly grandmother really needs a dog for company. Grandma really may not want a dog at all.
Right.
So, we don't mean to be difficult or invasive because we want to adopt out our animals. But each one, we're dedicated to the home the animal's going to because he has nothing to say about it.
Right.
So we're going to put him in a home that's best for him, and hopefully it's forever.
So just because you have a lot of animals that you're trying to get adopted out, you don't cut corners on where they're
Not
going.
really. We really don't.
That's
And I
great.
think sometimes we take some flack about that.
Maybe.
But yeah, that's our mission.
Yeah. It looks like something went wrong. Okay.
Are we
Maybe
out of
it was
time?
just my screen. Well, I'm so glad to know you guys don't cut corners because you just don't want every Tom, Dick, or Harry getting a pet when they're not capable or willing to put in the work that it takes because sometimes having a pet is a lot of work.
It is. And it's a lot of expense.
It's commitment.
Yes, it is.
Every day
they're
you've got to
very
feed
important.
them and walk them and
Yeah, they're very important to us. If we have an animal that we've had there, even 2-3 weeks, we're already attached and we already know that animal and what he needs and sometimes some of his little quirks too. And we try to relay our knowledge onto everyone that's interested in adopting and ask them to do a little research on
Sure.
what they're getting.
Yeah.
Because every pet's not easy either.
So you group the animals, you've got these dogs and these are ready to be adopted.
Yes.
And so when a family comes in and they're looking for a pet, then they can go look at the ones that are eligible.
Yes.
And then you try to match.
Well, yes, we do. And another thing is that people don't realize is if you find a dog on the street and you bring it to us, legally we have to hold that dog for 7 days, hoping that the rightful owner will come forward. If that doesn't happen in that 7-day period, then we temperament test it so we figure out, well, I think this dog could go with any family, little kids, big kids, other pets, or not. What are the quirks of this dog? Then we check into the health aspects. How old is he? Does he need any dental care? Does he need to be spayed or neutered? So sometimes it might take 30 days to decide that the animal is now finally been seen by a veterinarian, spayed or neutered, and moved into the adoption section.
Okay.
So, yeah, just kind of depends.
So whenever you're open, a family can come down and say, I want to look at the
You
pets
bet. They
available.
can browse anytime. And we
Okay.
have a sheet of paper on the front of each kennel that tells about the dog. It tells why it's there, if it was a stray, if it was a relinquish, or whatever. It tells its characteristics. Many of the paperwork will say, absolutely no cats for this dog, or no small children. And many times we've learned that information from a previous owner. Or something like that. So, like I said, we really do work hard to match an animal with the right family.
I can't imagine how you get all this done with 8 staff and over 100 animals to do all of this for.
Well, and you know what? We know every one of them.
Wow.
A man brought me 3 cats in October that he trapped here in the city in a live trap, and they were a nuisance. Well, his wife was upset, and she wanted to adopt these 3 cats. And they weren't really super friendly either. They had been
But they
outdoor
weren't feral.
cats. Well, they were a little, I'd call them semi-feral.
Okay.
But she wanted these cats. So he called me and he's like, well, what can you do for me? And I still had them. And I said, well, we can have them spayed and neutered. And, but once you get them, you're obligated to keep them indoors. They're not to run, you can't just take them and throw them back outside where they came from.
Right.
Because we're in our city limits. We have an ordinance. Nope. I'm going to keep them in the house. So we made all the arrangements, went to the vet, and he called me a couple days later and he said, well, my wife's concerned that you don't know which 3 cats I brought. I said, I know exactly which 3 cats they are. And I mean, we do. We have so much interaction with those animals every day that we know who's there, where they came from.
That's so wonderful.
And so,
so you don't just keep them back there and you guys go about your business.
No, and they get names. They don't go by a number. They have a name, and we know, oh yes, that's the kitten from Earl Avenue. And I mean, we are really in tune with what we have.
Oh, that's what, you must have some great staff.
They're pretty dedicated people.
I bet they don't leave very often either.
No, my staff, some of them have been there almost as long as I have.
Oh my goodness.
We're talking 15 years, 20 years, 10 years. Yes.
That's dedication.
And we're like a family.
Sure.
So yeah, it's a lot of people that work for the same reason, and you know, every day isn't hunky-dory happy.
Well, sure.
There's some emotional days, but we do the best we can with what we have to find the right homes for them.
Well, what a wonderful service you're doing here in our city. I just love it that Nancy Kent had the idea to move you into the city instead of being out on the outskirts.
For sure,
I think it's
helpful.
a wonderful
Yeah.
addition to the community and the services that you provide for all the families.
Well, you know, sometimes animal sheltering can be negative.
Sure.
But what would we do without it?
Well,
Seriously,
yeah.
what would a city do with no animal shelter? Especially, I had a couple bring in a cat today. He's been around their house for 2 weeks. And they said, well, we really would keep him, but we're afraid about his health, and we don't know if he has an owner. And I said, well, let me take him to my exam room, and I'll take a look. And this poor kitty, he's dehydrated. He's just a little skeleton. But I got to looking at him, and he's already neutered. He's friendly as heck. We gave him a little can of cat food, and he was just, I'm so hungry. And I said, well, leave him here the 7 days. Let's see what his health turns out like. Let's see if we can get some weight on him, and give me a call in a week. I don't think anybody's going to come forward for him, but if he would be left outside much longer, as thin as he was, he wouldn't be around.
Oh.
So, you know, these people are interested. They cared enough to bring him in. He's from our city, and like I said, we all kind of work together, and hopefully he'll get a home.
Yeah, that'd be great.
Yeah.
Any final things you want to share with the folks at home?
Since we were talking about resources and Facebook, and even this being on Facebook,
Sure.
We've lost a lot of our resources where we used to get pet food. And Facebook, when we are really running short, we've put out a plea, hey, we really need kitten food, or we really need adult cat food.
Idea.
And the response from Muscatine has been fantastic.
Oh, I love it.
Absolutely fantastic.
Yes.
And now with Chewy.com, people order us food, they get it delivered, no shipping, and we're getting food all the time.
Isn't that wonderful?
And it's really good food. And you know, people don't realize that animals in an animal shelter are stressed. Generic food doesn't work real well with them. And we are so thankful to Muscatine and the people who do look at the Facebook page and help us out.
Oh, that's great.
So it's great.
So everybody needs to go on the Muscatine Humane Society
Page.
Facebook page and like it.
Yeah.
So whenever that comes up, that you guys have a shortage of something, you put it out there, and they can know, you know, hey, I need to go buy some cat food or some dog food. Or
and you know, people can talk to us back and forth. They can call. If they've lost their pet, please call us, because again, by knowing the animals we have, we do keep a list too, and we try to match up lost pets with their owners too. Send me a picture. Put a picture on a Facebook page of what your lost animal looks like. Picture's worth 1,000 words.
Sure it is.
So that's really helpful too, and we do try. So
I know you guys are doing wonderful work down there for everyone.
we
Thank
try.
you. Thank
Thanks
you,
for
Chris,
having
so
me.
much.
I
We
appreciate
really
it.
appreciate it. Hey, and if anything comes up in the future, come on back. We'd love to have you come
Okay.
back.
Well,
All
I
right?
appreciate it. Thank you so
Thank
much.
you. Thank you. Well, sit tight there while I give everybody a couple of reminders. I want to just share next week our city guests are going to be Jackie McCoy with Goodwill and some of the employment services that they do there, and Melissa Mahaley, you know what? I recently learned it's Mahaley Melissa. I have it backwards. And she's doing Love Shouldn't Hurt, which is an event that she's doing as a fundraiser for the domestic violence shelter. And we're going to learn about that next week. Coffee with the Mayor is on Saturday at 9 a.m. at Happy Joe's at Lake Park Boulevard. But heads up, I'm hearing some real weird things coming out of the meteorologists' mouths about Friday night and Saturday morning. And I'm not at all sure that we're going to make this coffee with the mayor. So keep your eyes peeled for our Facebook page, on the mayor's page. It's very possible that I may end up canceling. I might do it even before the event. I want to catch the 10 o'clock news tonight when I get home and see what they're saying. But they're calling for a pretty substantial storm, and I don't want anybody to get out and have any kind of an issue. And we have a regular city council meeting on this Thursday night at 7 o'clock upstairs at City Hall. And lastly, I just wanted to share that the Muscatine budget sessions are starting next week. I can't even believe it's been a year, but it certainly has. You are welcome to attend any or all of the budget sessions that you like. We do have a flyer here that has the whole list of the schedule. So I sent that over to you, Ryan. You should have it there on your computer. And basically it lays out for you what we're gonna do each night. So it's mainly 5:30 to 8:30, several evenings a week, and then all day on Saturdays from like 8 to 4. But we'll be talking about the different departments and what their budgets are, and as well as some of the outside agencies. So the Muscatine Humane Society has a time on there. MCSA has a time on there. Certainly we'll talk to the fire department and the police department, but you're welcome to just come and sit and listen. So we're gonna start next Thursday, which is just an overview. And then on Saturday the 26th, we'll be hearing, we'll be talking about risk management and finance, animal control, there you go, police operations, the library, the art center, all of these things all day on Saturday. You can come for an hour, you can come for all day. And then the next week, we'll be doing Monday night, Tuesday night, Thursday night, all day Saturday. So the sessions are held on the lower level of City Hall. There's a conference room down there. Feel free to come on in. If you have any questions of when something's going to be, I believe the budget's, in fact, I know the budget session schedule that you just saw is on the City of Muscatine's website. You can look at city administrator updates. It was just a couple weeks ago, but the whole budget session schedule is on there. And like I said, if there's anything particular that you're interested in, look it up and see when we're going to be talking about that, or give me a call and I'll be happy to look it up for you. So we hope that if you're interested that you feel welcome to attend any of these meetings, and certainly the council meeting on Thursday. I want to thank both of our guests tonight. We learned a great deal of information, and once again, I just can't say enough how good the services are that are given to the people in our community, and how good the people in our community are at giving back and volunteering at all of the service organizations that we have. We have a great city right here. Thank you to all of you. Thank you for joining us. We hope to see you next week here on Our City.
Our City with Mayor Diana Broderson replays on MPW Channel 9, Wednesday at 2 p.m. and 7 p.m. and Thursday at 7 a.m. Of course, we're live every Tuesday at 6:30 p.m. on Facebook. Email us at ourcity@muscatineiowa.gov.